This is a reading from the first letter of Paul to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 15 and all. See that none of you repays evil for evil, but always seek to do good to one another and to all. Rejoice always, pray without ceasing. So, I have been Christian my whole life, and for most of my life, prayer was relegated to a very small portion at the end of my day, on my knees, on my bed, a Hail Mary, Our Father, glory be, and then, some rote prayers like praying for world peace, praying like God bless my family. Total time, 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah, and even worse, once I sort of got this desire to more grow in my faith, it always felt like I didn't have time for prayer. Yet, as we see here in this letter of Paul, we are called to pray without ceasing. So it's definitely, it can definitely be frustrating. Like, you're busy, you're going to school, going to the gym, you're trying to be social, and then you fall down at the end of the day, tired, not really wanting to do it, but you still put in the effort, and you're making time for God to pray. And that's great. Would obviously never recommend against not doing that. Like, keeping that as a base in your day at the end of the day, at the start of the day is great. However, now I'm able to find time and make time in my day and like create my schedule as I have more freedom in college to like have these long prayer sessions to make daily mass and stuff like that. However, that wasn't always the case, and I sort of felt like I was left out of prayer. Like I wasn't able to find like a 20-minute time block, so I can't pray. However, just because there isn't like a long drawn out time block, or even time alone, time in solitude, time in a church, we can still pray without ceasing. I believe it was on an episode of Pints with Aquinas where either him or his guest was talking about the Desert Father's idea of prayer as like constantly throwing javelins up to the heavens, up to the sky, in a sense that prayer, constant throughout your day, is these constant little pushes, as well as hopefully like longer drawn out sessions of prayer, which is the ideal. But even if you can't, fit that ideal of like a holy hour or something like that, there's so many ways to add in prayer throughout your day. How do I do that? I like to wear, now my girlfriend got it for me. I never wore really any Christian swag for a while. I have a crucifix around my neck. And what I will do throughout the day is just kiss it like that 3 times, like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, kiss it, like I love you, Jesus, thy will be done, please guide me, etc. I also normally wear a wrist rosary, another crucifix, and again, I'm not, obviously, most of the time, like my chain is tucked. Very rarely will it be like this, but I'll be stressed on a test or something, I'll take it out, something like that. Also, it's a crucifix. I'm reminding myself of the suffering that Jesus went through me constantly and throughout the day. And similar with the wrist rosary. I'm able to just like look down at it, and Jesus is on my wrist always throughout the day, and keeping in mind of that. And again, like taking time, you obviously you don't have to if you don't want to, like kiss Jesus. I like to do that. It feels more devotional. It is kind of funny though, like I'll be in the library concentrating, like, oh, I can't focus, like, God, like, please help me lock in, like make the sign of the cross. And the people in the library just hear like kissing noise. They're like, what is going on? But like, hey, I'm having my moment. So that's one way, like little wearing something on you. Obviously not trying to flaunt it. I still think all wearing like Christian clothing and like Bible verses a little weird to me, to be honest. Feels a little weird. I don't know. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way. That's not the point though. But so that's one thing. Wearing something with Jesus, being able to kiss Jesus, keep him in mind throughout the day. Also with the wrist rosary, if you are Catholic, having this puppy on you is great. I've literally, some of my friends talk about like if the professor gets boring in a lecture, just like ripping some Hail Marys. That's a decent idea. More so I like it for when I'm walking. If I'm walking and my hands are free, it's not like a dangerous alleyway, I'm able to say a decade while I'm walking, and that helps sort of with a binding of the eyes too, to where I'm not, staring at every person I walk by like, oh, and then there's more, opportunity for temptation, like, oh, that girl's kind of cute, But I have a girlfriend, I shouldn't be thinking that, or like, oh, like that guy's bigger than me, like, oh, but that's comparison, or oh, like I could beat that dude up, but like come on, like a lot of the times when I feel that I'm looking at random people, it's not really productive. Pedestrians or people whose name I don't know. So having prayer when walking, praying the rosary, reflecting on the life of Jesus, the gospel on beads, that's a great way. Maybe you're not Catholic, you don't like the rosary, just praying while walking. In college, walk a lot, dining hall, class, gym, whatever, walking. Oftentimes not with someone else, and that is a great way to find a little time for prayer. And yeah, I hope you kind of get the point of this now that, well, obviously I would recommend both, being able to pray without ceasing and being able to have long drawn out bouts of prayer. I feel like I was sort of possessed with this mindset that if I don't have like 10, 15 minutes by myself, it's all for naught, which is not the case. We can always find a way to pray in the gym, between sets, before meals, before working out, after working out, before a test, saying a prayer like, God, please grant me wisdom and understanding, like, Holy Spirit, please come upon me, grant me wisdom, stuff like that. I bet there's a bunch of other ways too. I'd actually love to hear in the comments some of the ways y'all are able to find little moments of prayer throughout the day. Praying for people, walking by a homeless man, God bless him. Obviously, it's better in that case, like faith and works, to give the guy money if you have it. But driving by homeless people, God bless them, stuff like that. I'm trying to think, there was one other example I meant to say. I talked about walking, talked about kissing the cross. Oh yeah, even like on your phone, keeping the Bible on your phone. Obviously it's great to have like the word with you at all times, but keeping it on your phone, being able to rip a chapter of the gospel when you have a free moment instead of doom scrolling, like on the train, on the bus, something like that. Praying in the car is great too, on a long drive, sitting in silence. I often will try a car rosary, conversational prayer, like literally imagining Jesus sitting next to me, shotgun, praying in the car. Yeah, it's really hard once you, I mean, obviously, like if you're focusing and doing like work or you're reading a book, like, you know, you're not always going to be praying then, but even like when you are doing work, at the start, God, please grant me focus. At the end, God, thank you for this time to do work and, you know, the opportunity to study. I'm so grateful for that. And in the middle, you lose focus, like, God, like, please grant me focus, please help me lock in, like, come Holy Spirit, please guide me, please guide my mind and intellect. So the more and more you begin to think like this, the more and more there's opportunities for prayer. To be frank, I probably struggle the most with praying when working out. I'll pray before and after working out, like the gym or running or jiu-jitsu or something like that. But I just sort of end up listening to music when I'm lifting and listening to music or a podcast while running. And very often not praying then, which is like a fault. That is something I want to work on, to be able to pray more without ceasing, by praying, you know, during like a physical fitness thing. But yeah, that's the video. I hope it helped. I really wish I had this idea a lot longer ago when I was starting out working on my faith, realizing that prayer doesn't have to be just on your knees, on your bed. Prayer can be and should be constant and throughout our days. That's it. Pray without ceasing. God bless.